All right, my friends, welcome to this month's June Leading Congregations Monthly. We are talking communication audits. I am happy to have you here, whether you're watching live or watching a recording. We have a bunch of new members. Make sure, if you're a new member, you look at the whole archive of material that's in our Leading Congregations program member area. That includes some bonus content that's not in the monthly archive, but if you go to library, at the top menu, click library, there's a church social media membership growth course and volunteer recruitment mini course. So that's all there for you. So what we're going to do is dive right into this session and move kind of like the opening learning community part that I've been doing to the end. So just talking about upcoming announcements, checking on how you're doing, extended Q&A from previous topics. We're going to do that at the end. So let's get into this month's session on communication audits, including social media communication audits. Here's our agenda. All right, we are going to talk what is a communication audit, why communication audits are valuable, when to do communication audits, like when it's smart and productive to do that. Talk about the process and components of a communication audit. Then we'll get into I'll touch on self-audits versus bringing in an outside consultant or agency, where our focus is going to be on self-audits. Speak a little bit to objectivity and anonymity, having those within the scope of what you're doing. Then we're going to get into, in terms of getting started with auditing your communications, first, doing a communication inventory. And I created a great spreadsheet for you. I think you're going to love it. That's in the downloads for this unit. Available in some different forms, linked to a Google spreadsheet you can copy, an Excel document in the downloads of this unit. Look for the handouts part of this module when it's in the member area. And there's also an open source document format. And make sure you get the spreadsheet. It's awesome. Talk about communications inventory, using that, and then not just doing a giant audit of everything, because there's too much to do in terms of learning in an ongoing basis to always try and audit everything. I want you to focus on getting an initial communication inventory and then doing focus audits that are goal driven. Okay, you have a goal of reaching more people in this demographic. How do your communications, how are you speaking to that community? If you want more members, how are your communications speaking to newcomers? Are you having compelling invitations and the like? Okay, so I talk about regular focused self-audits with purpose in a limited scope. That includes looking at audit focused questions. How do you just kind of zero in on some great questions to guide that work? You have questions that are going to help you get to that goal. Then talk about, just kind of talking a little bit about audits in the context of the digital context of ministry today. So audits in the digital context of ministry, which is a segue into our next month's training, the ministry of communication. The ministry of communication. Critical. You can't do all the things you need to do with communication today if you aren't seeing ministry and media as being connected, integral, dependent on each other, and developing a great collaborative team, staff and lay people together. We have to talk about that. It's a hot topic. People are asking, how do we develop a media team? All right, we'll talk. All right, in July, we'll talk. And then in August, greeter training. And then at the end of our session, we'll go into checking our learning community, more announcements, extra questions. Okay, are you ready? Did I say I'm glad you're here? We got new members, and some of you are coming like every single time. Other people are just looking at the recordings, which is fine, but I'm just glad to, whether you're here live with me or through time via the recording, I'm glad you're here and grateful for your leadership.